ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your Monday Night Raw review for March 7th, 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize about last week and me not doing a review on Monday Night Raw, but I have to say one thing. Last week's Monday Night Raw absolutely was terrible at the max. I mean, it was downright a zero in my opinion. This episode was 10 times better. A lot of good positive things to talk about for this episode. So let's not take any, delay on this. Basically, we started off the show with Shane O'Mac explaining how he felt about his father's statements towards him saying that his son is no longer his son, that Vince McMahon's son is a son of a bitch, which I think was absolutely horrible. I think what they're going on this is kind of stupid. I think it's very, disgusting, but I guess that's what Vince McMahon wants to go for. So I'm not quite sure on this, but it's pretty fucked up in my opinion. Probably one of the worst, very horrible comments coming out of a Vince McMahon family towards one person to another. I think this is really downright disgusting in my point of view. I mean, other people might say, hey, this is good television. It leaves the storyline with some intrigue and interest, I guess you could say. I'm not quite sure. Me personally, I kind of think it's bad taste. But I mean, I guess sometimes it's what Vince McMahon thinks is what's good for storylines to make them more interesting to the audience. But yeah, Shane explains how he feels about the situation, what his father said, and everything else. States that he has a lot of respect for Undertaker in this match going into Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. So he understands what he's getting himself involved in, but what he can't understand or grasp or understand why his father would feel this way about him, outside of the fact that he's an egotistical bastard, which in reality is true. Not to mention all the added on things that Shane said is very true to real life. Vince McMahon's totally out of touch with his fans. He's out of touch with what people are entertained by. He's out of touch of the talent, and so forth. He's also, given talent, the capability of succeeding that isn't very good talent at all, while other successful, talented wrestlers are not succeeding within the company and getting opportunities to better themselves. And it's pretty much stating what fans feel about this company right now in the state that it's in. I truly believe that's Vince McMahon's doing and saying having Shane say all these things on national television, trying to appease the audience through Shane McMahon, making him look like the good guy and Vince McMahon's the bad guy, in which case Vince McMahon don't give a fuck about what the fans think. He's just throwing them a bone, I guess you could say, in a sense, through Shane McMahon's message and words through the script. So, and like saying that Vince doesn't have any touch with reality and he isn't in touch with his fan base. So, that being said, it leads to, pretty much you hear an Undertaker's introduction theme song, and then out comes Vince McMahon anyway. Well, in that case, he does another, here's the middle finger, fuck you guys, type of thing. Pulls out a picture of his son and him back when Shane was a young little boy at a first time ever wrestling event that he was going to in Boston. And Vince McMahon decided to take the picture and throw it on the floor and demolish it. Fucking unbelievable. I'm hoping that picture was a copy and not the real picture that he just threw on the ground and demolished. I highly doubt that's the case. I don't think he would take the original picture and just dismantle it like that, and be so disgusting about it, outside of using a, copy of the original picture. So I'm just hoping that is the case. So basically, from there, Vince McMahon gets arena authorities to remove him from the arena, and Shane McMahon fights him off, beats the living crap out of him in a very poor fashion, I may add. It wasn't very believable, but he did throw some nice knees into these guards and so forth, but the punches weren't all that great. They definitely looked faked as hell. Didn't look, sellable as realistic, so I was a little disappointed in that, but still the fans were really into it. By the way, Chicago was really on fire tonight. They definitely were into this whole entire event from beginning to end. There were some moments here and there where they were kind of just not really making a peep, but majority of the show they were pretty much into this. So I'm very, very, happy about that. Our first match after that, from that segment, was Kevin Owens versus Neville. Neville loses this match to Kevin Owens again. Kevin Owens and Neville had a very decent match. The match, I believe, went over 15 minutes long, so it wasn't too bad of a match. Just, the same old shit. But what was really entertaining about the ending of this is Sami Zayn showed up out of nowhere. Now, rumors have been running rampant about Sami Zayn's debut into the WWE main roster, and he made it. He hasn't had a match yet, but they are pretty much continuing off where they started from, with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn from NXT and now into the main roster. Very smart move on WWE's part. They're finally listening to the WWE audience, to what they want to see. They want to see Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Now, hopefully this becomes a one-on-one match, not an actual multi-man ladder match like last year's. I particularly didn't really care for that match really all that much last year, except for the fact that Daniel Bryan won the IC title. Not that that was the greatest thing that Daniel Bryan could have had at that moment, but at least it was something instead of nothing. So yeah, this match though that Kevin Owens and Neville had, I definitely give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So it definitely was reasonable. Now, basically, with all that being said, we also had a segment from Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose definitely had a good one here, talking and discussing about the fact that he is going to be the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He deserves it. He's what the WWE needs as a champion. That's what the fans want. He was stating a lot of truth and a lot of stuff. He was goofing off in the segment too, with some of the things he was saying. But overall, it pretty much met what we're all looking for. Dean Ambrose should be the people's champion. Roman Reigns should be the corporate champion. That's really how this all is. It pretty much is. I don't think that there should be anything else. It should be Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose headlining WrestleMania. That's the truth of the matter of all this. There's nothing else more to say to this. Now, Roman Reigns, I believe, could turn heel at Roadblock. That could actually happen, maybe have Dean Ambrose win the championship against Triple H, and then have Roman Reigns come out and, shake his hand, pretend they're friends, and then beat the shit out of him, do that kind of thing. I think that would be actually a smart idea. That gives you a couple of more weeks to build into these two guys for leading into WrestleMania, with one being a face and one being a heel. And then at that point, you have, The Rock's in his corner, whatever, and you build on that. Have Roman Reigns, have a discussion with The Rock and talk about, how he's kind of pissed off about the situation. Rock calms him down. Leading up to WrestleMania, and they get on the same page, and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns become friends again for a small period of time again. Do like a little tag team action. Dean Ambrose starts getting some heat and some momentum going into WrestleMania with them tag team partners, and Roman Reigns kind of feels like the guy in the background. There you go. Then you go WrestleMania. Roman Reigns goes ahead, starts beating the fucking shit out of Dean Ambrose. Rock comes in and says, "Man, you got him beat. Just pin him. Just pin him." Freaking Superman punches The Rock. Boom. Knocks him out. And then the Roman Reigns gets the 1-2-3 on Dean Ambrose when they ever decide to end the match. That leads into The Rock and Roman Reigns one-on-one at next year's WrestleMania. I think that would be perfect. I mean, there is rumor that Roman Reigns is supposed to be the headliner of WrestleMania for the next 2 more WrestleManias back to back. That would be a great match. And we get to see Roman Reigns as the heel on top of it. I think that would be perfect. We would actually get something worth watching. The fans would get what they want. They want to see Roman Reigns heel. He'd be heel. And he'd be the corporate champion. I think that would be perfect. I don't think there would be anything wrong with it. And I think it would be a great way of setting up what the fans want and what Vince McMahon wants. Vince McMahon wants Roman Reigns champ. The fans want to see him as a heel. Give him what the fans want. Roman Reigns heel. He becomes WWE champion. And Vince McMahon gets what he wants. We get what we want. It's a compromise. There you go. What the hell's so bad about that? We also had I believe there was a Divas match with Brie Bella and some other fucking shit. Don't quite remember everything. What happened on the show, because of the fact that I don't have a way of looking up the information and what happened on Raw on NoDQ.com. That's usually where I get my play-by-play information from. But yeah, I mean, Brie Bella had a match with somebody. I skipped that match. I didn't care for that. What else? We got to see Dolph Ziggler face the 3 members of the League of Douche tonight. That was a fucking waste of time. Basically, Dolph Ziggler was able to eliminate Wade Barrett. That was a fucking joke. With a super kick, then he hit Rusev with the super kick, couldn't get the win, and Sheamus and Rusev was able to kick him in the head. First Rusev, then the bro kick by Sheamus, and got the 1-2-3. Oh wow, big fucking whoop-de-doo on that one. We also had trying to think of some other things here. Oh yeah, during that segment with Bray Wyatt, or with Dean Ambrose and Triple H also came out and mentioned that he will have a match with Bray Wyatt one-on-one in the main event, which wasn't that bad of a match. It was an okay match, and there was some nice little teaser there, which I'll get into once we get to the end of this. Other things on the card here that I'm trying to remember. Ryback also faced the fucking Curtis Axel. What a fucking waste of time that was. Kalisto got to face Tyler Breeze. That was a waste of a fucking match. This all was happening in the last hour, in the 10 o'clock hour, so pretty much they didn't put a lot of effort in the 10 o'clock hour. The first 2 hours were pretty okay, but the last hour outside of the ending match, the main event, the rest of it was just garbage. It wasn't all that interesting. I guess they were just taking a break, trying to gather some new ideas and ways of making the show, making the main event real good and entertaining, which they did a good job about, by the way, as I already mentioned. Trying to think here, what else? We also had Stephanie McMahon being doubtful about Shane McMahon, thinking that maybe he could possibly pull off beating The Undertaker, and that if that happens, what do they do? Shane McMahon runs Raw and they disappear, whatever. So, same like scenario runoff of like Survivor Series of 2014, which was pretty, in my opinion, was awesome at first, and then they brought him back, and it just was a fucking waste of time. They should have never even done it to begin with if that's what they were planning on doing in the first place. This one seems pretty much very similar, only this time I don't think Undertaker's losing at WrestleMania in a Hell in a Cell match, nonetheless, to Shane McMahon. Now, Shane McMahon, I mean, they showed footage of his in-ring work and performances, and my god, the guy was fucking fearless, unbelievable. I just wonder how he's going to fare in this match. It's been a long time since he's wrestled. He looks a little out of shape. I see that he has a bit of a pudgy belly, but that happens as you get older. So, I mean, that's expected. I mean, unless you're really staying in shape for consistently all the time. And him being out of the wrestling industry, I'm pretty sure he probably didn't do all that much in shape kind of working out thing on a consistent basis like he was originally when he was in WWE, but that's not here for the case. But yeah, he had some really good moments in WWE during the time when wrestling actually meant something, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it was a nice show. We also got to see Chris Jericho and AJ Styles versus the New Day for the tag team titles. Great match, unfucking real. What a match that was. I have to say, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho made the New Day look absolutely fantastic. I mean, this match was almost a 5-star match. There was a few hiccups in this match I noticed, but it wasn't nothing too extreme that made the match look bad. So, I mean, it was a fucking awesome match. The audience was really into this match. This felt like a pay-per-view type of quality match, in my opinion. Personally, if they took the Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt match from Roadblock, put this on Monday Night Raw, you had Triple H and Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship on Raw, you would have filled in a crap load of gaps on this show that was shit and made this a 5-star freaking event of a Monday Night Raw. That's what they need to do. They need to do shit like that. They need to take some of the things that they're doing for like the special events for on Saturday nights on the network and put them on a Monday Night Raw show. You're doing 3 hours. 3 hours to most people's minds that's pay-per-view quality programming. You're doing this on a weekly basis. Give us something to watch. Give us a reason. They did a decent job of what they had. I have to admit that. It was definitely a decent show, but it would have been 10 times better if they would have taken some of the matches that they've had, that they've added to Roadblock, and which I'm calling it Cockblock, and put that on this show. This show would have been a fucking unbelievable episode. I mean, and possibly, and you make Triple H lose the title of Dean Ambrose? My freaking god, man. You would have an unbelievable, you would have so much buzz going into WrestleMania, I think it would blow people's minds. I really think they would have sold a lot more tickets for WrestleMania if they would have put this on Monday Night Raw. I mean, this is a fucking unbelievable card you would have had for Monday Night Raw. Not to mention some of the good quality that you put on Monday Night Raw, and then you add that with Roadblock with the matches that you already have on there and throw them on the Monday Night Raw episode instead of having a Saturday night pay-per-view event and put this on an actual live event show. I mean, this would be worth a whole 3 hours. I mean, you would have had pay-per-view type quality show, and that's what we need. If you're giving us 3 hours every single week on a Monday Night Raw episode, give us once in a while a pay-per-view quality show. You know, I mean, this shit with this 3-hour bore fest is just ridiculous, and it's making me want to turn away. But this episode, I can't deny, was a decent show. Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose, as I said, this was a decent match. But what was more intriguing was after the Wyatt family came out and destroyed Dean Ambrose for Triple H, Triple H came out and was about ready to attack Dean Ambrose, and Bray Wyatt stared at Triple H and the belt, touched the belt a little bit, like, I'll see the belt in the future, kind of thing, and you can have your way with Dean Ambrose. That was a real good teaser. That might be a sign that maybe WWE is planning something big for Bray Wyatt. I'm hoping so. I mean, this guy, me personally, I'm not a big fan of his, but a lot of people like him, and majority rules, and he is a very well-liked performer in WWE. Despite whether I think he's a good performer or not, there's a lot of people that do like his in-ring performance and like his character gimmick, and I think his character gimmick's great. I like his promos. A lot of times they're sometimes repetitive and pointless sometimes, but they're sometimes really, really good and entertaining, and even reflect on real life stuff. So yeah, I mean, this was a very interesting tease that they threw out there before Dean Ambrose got finally up and hit the dirty deeds on Triple H, and he held the belt up in the air and to say, hey, I'm going to be the champion kind of thing, and I really hope they do that. I think it would be really good leading into WrestleMania. I think it would be a good heel turn for Roman Reigns. It'd leave a very good opportunity for that during this event. If they do a heel turn at Roadblock with Roman Reigns, I think that would make Roadblock worth doing. But they could have done that tonight, maybe. But I didn't see Roman Reigns anywhere. So this might be a case of maybe Dean Ambrose becomes champion, and we see Roman Reigns turn heel the same night on Saturday night's event. That would be good. Is it going to happen? Only dreamers can dream. And personally, like Vince McMahon said on his show, being pessimistic, only fools believe in miracles. And that's pretty much what this is. A fucking miracle for Vince McMahon to actually think out of the box instead of being so fucking, instead of Vince McMahon being stubborn and think out of the box and do the right thing and taking a chance of change. Because that's what people want. They want to see a change here. WrestleMania's main event for the WWE Championship needs 2 young stars that are going to be main eventers for years to come. And that should be Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins would be added to that list if he wasn't injured. Bottom line. And that's what should be going on here. And unfortunately, that's not what's happening so far. Hopefully that changes at Roadblock, Cockblock, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And we see that change happen. But at this point, it is what it is, and it's Roman Reigns versus Triple H for the championship. Hopefully that does change. At this time, though, I thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed watching the review. I know it wasn't too long, and I'm pretty sure that most of you guys are thankful of that. But yeah, I thought this Raw was pretty decent, well worth reviewing at least, and giving my point of insight and feelings towards the event. And leave your comments, opinions down below. I'll get back to you on them, and smack it down on that subscribe button, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great night.